it's April with Hair 101. Today we're going to show you how to donate hair for Locks of Love, and we're going to chop her hair from very long all the way down to a pixie cut, like an Anne Hathaway look. The rules for Locks of Love to donate: you have to have at least 10 inches of hair. It's okay if it's been colored or permed, but it cannot be bleached. So as soon as you bleached your hair, you would have to let that hair grow out and be cut off before you could donate again. So her hair is just natural. I don't think she's colored it or permed it or anything, so we're good. And then also you have to have at least 10 inches. And if you have layers in the hair, the shortest layer that they would be able to use would be 10 inches. So if you took a regular 10-inch comb, that would be how you could tell how long the hair is. So she's probably got like 22 inches here. So we're good, and we're probably going to cut the top to about there anyway, so she'll be able to use all of her hair, which is awesome. But if you do have layers that are shorter than the 10 inches, you can still cut that hair off and donate it, and they will just separate the hairs out that are too short and sell them or throw them away, and they will keep the rest of it and use it for the wigs for the kids that are losing their hair for medical reasons. So what I'm going to do now, since we're doing a pixie cut on her, we're going to divide the hair into 4 sections and put ponytails and braids in each of those 4 sections. So just like a T on the head. And this will just help have more of a uniform length through all of it. Now on the top sections, you're going to want to keep them a little bit more towards the side. You don't want to do it right on the top of the head, because you want to have that length on the top for the pixie cut still. And just make sure you put the elastics or the hair ties in really tight. And I usually even braid the hair after that too, so that it's a little bit easier. So bring it away from the head a little bit, because you have to cut obviously above that. So once you get that, you want to measure it, make sure you have your 10 inches. And then you can even just braid it really quick while it's on the head, because it's a lot easier to braid on the head than after you cut it. And I'm just going to stick a small elastic in the bottom of this. Now if you were going to cut it into an A-line shape, you would pull all of the hair into the back of the head and do a low ponytail in the back. But since she's doing a really short pixie, we're going to do the 4. So just keep that in mind. If you're wanting to do a little bit more length on to leave on your head, you would do a low ponytail in the back, and you could just do one big one. So I'm just going to hurry and do the rest of those sections, and then we'll start. Alright, now we're going to cut all of these off. This is just really easy. Just go a little bit above the elastic or the hair tie and chop it off. It's easy as that. There we go. There's one. There's 2. You just kind of chop through it with your scissors. It's too big to do it in one big swipe, so. And then you're going to have a really funky haircut here. Okay, so we're going to take these braids, and if you go onto the Locks of Love website, you can just print out a little donation form. You don't have to have this. It's up to you. But it gives you some of the directions, makes it a little bit easier. You're supposed to put them in a Ziploc bag and fill it up. And then you just fill out your form, and then you stick it all inside a padded envelope. And they have the address online. It's 234 Southern Boulevard, West Palm Beach, Florida. And then, sorry about that. And then you'll just stick it all in there and mail it to them. Make sure you pay enough postage, because it would really suck for it to come back and have to do it again. Make it easy on yourselves and just make sure it's right. And then now we're going to wash her hair to get it all wet. Alright, so now that you have the main bulk of the hair cut off, you have this awesome haircut that nobody would ever want to wear, ever. We're going to part it off in 5 sections. We're going to start with the mohawk, and you're just going to go a little bit above where the head rolls. And just section that up. And then in the back, I'm going to V it down. I'll show you here. Spin her around. We're just going to make a V down in the back, like this. And that will help us to leave that little bit more length back where her head starts to roll. There we go. So put that in a clip. And then we're going to take section down from that V. And then just like right behind the ear. And if you don't want to use clips, you can just kind of push the hair like that, just to separate your sections out. It helps you to know where you're cutting, where you need to go next and everything. So okay, so now we got our 5 sections. Make sure that's in the middle there. There we go. That's the problem with doing it when it's facing the camera. You can't really tell where the middle is. There we go. All right. So we need to get the sides. I'm going to do the front side, the right front side first. Now, in this haircut, there is a little bit of length and fringe still down and around the face. So I'm going to use the razor, and I'm just going to take what's left of this hair and just kind of start at the ear back and just kind of angle it forward so that we have a little bit more length in the front. I'll show you one more time. You just kind of hold it up with your fingers and go just above your fingers and just kind of chop it out. And that's going to keep it really soft to where you will not have any really, really tough lines around her ears or her face. And just picking up little pieces of hair and kind of texturing it out now. Make sure your razor's sharp. It helps when you're doing short haircuts like this. One more time. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to take it forward, and I'm just going to angle it around her face the other way. So I did this one this way, so she kind of has that little point so she can piece that out. And then I'm going to go through and chop out just a little bit in the perimeter on that side also. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Hold the hair up, start right above the ear. Careful not to cut their ear off here. Okay, and then I'm going to pull it forward. I'm going to go like this down on this side. You see how it just has a really soft edge to it? That's what the razor cut will do for you. So it's really important when you're going from really long hair to really short hair that you get enough texture in there. Otherwise you start looking like you have this big helmet of hair because there's been so much hair growing in from when it was long. Okay, so now that I have those two things done, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to just graduate up. So you should have some sort of a guide down here. And I'm just going to point cut in and follow up from that shorter piece underneath. Oh, try not to grab that top hair. There we go. So that will be our length for the sides. We're going to do the same thing over here. Alrighty. Still a little bit longer on this side. Alright, and then I'm going to go back through with my razor again and just kind of pencil out a little bit of this just to give it some nice texture. There we go. Alright. Alright, same thing with the back. I'm going to use my razor again. I'm going to take this starting at the bottom and just kind of chip away at it. And then start right here. I'm going to connect those two sections. So up here you pull it out and you just kind of go down with it. This is a really fun thing I like to do. Make sure they don't have any like moles that stick out, but you can just take the razor, if it has a guard on it, and just kind of go against their neck lightly. And then once again, right here, we're going to pull up this hair from the guide on the top and just take the razor and pull it down. All right, so now we're going to grab our scissors again. I'm going to part that hair right down the middle. And I'm going to start with this section over here, and I'm just going to take small sections, about 1 inch, pull them up, and I'm going to stick my hand like this right against her neck. This is going to give it a really pretty shape. So you put your fingers right against her head, and you just kind of cut downward. Get a longer piece, there we go. Then add a little bit more, and that's going to give you a good guide. You're just going to do that all the way across on this section. I need to fix the tension on these. There we go. That's better. So this is mainly this section right in here that we're doing. We're going to deal with this in a minute. So do that on the other side. Take your first section up, cut down. And what this does is it just leaves that little bit of fringe that you razored out down at the bottom, so it's not chopping it off. If you were going like this and then chopping up this way, it would take off that little bit of fringe that you had. And so I always like to do my necklines with pixie cuts like this, with my hands against their neck. And she has some long ones right there. Just take those off. And this is another reason why I really like to use the razor. I can comb this hair up and out of the way, and I can take this along and just give it a really nice clean shave. Because everyone has a little bit of hair that kind of grows downward right there. And that way it looks nice and clean when you pull it back down. All right, so now we're going to move back up into this section of the back. And I'm going to start right here. I'm going to connect this from the front side back. So I'm going to start right here. And then there's that guide from this bottom section below, and I'm just going to chop out with the point cut. I'm going to do that all the way across. Okay, other side. All right, we're going to take the top section out and just kind of mess it up a little bit here. All right, so this is where we're going to have lots of fun with the texture, because we need to be able to get all these cute little piecey things out of the top of this hair to do the little mini baby bangs. And if you do it really blunt on top here, it will just look like this fuzzy helmet. It needs to have different lengths, tons of different lengths, and different like empty space and then filled in space. So we're going to take the razor. It helps get that look. We're going to go around the fringe area, and we're just going to kind of slice some of this out. Do you want to sweep it this way? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's where it's going. Yeah. We're going to make sure we do that. All right, when it starts to look about the right texture length, you can go through. This is another way to get some of those little piecey looks. You can take your scissors and you just go in like this, and you just lightly, with your scissors, just kind of shape out a point. See how it kind of has like negative space there? You're just going to go through and do that. So a lot of this is just looking at it and looking at where it doesn't look right, what needs to change. If it's a little too thick, how are you going to thin it? You can use your thinning shears or the razor. The thinning shears will give it a more uniform thinness. The razor will give it more of like a missing hole spot look. And same with the scissors when you kind of use them this way. It's similar to what the razor's doing, you just have a little bit more control. Fun. There fun on the baby bangs like this to go a little bit shorter right where the point is that they like would part it and then have it a little bit longer. Kind of like the swoopy baby bangs. Okay, so that's the front area. We're gonna go through, pull this all up. We're gonna leave a couple inches on the top. We're gonna thin it, razor it. It will get a little bit shorter looking, but I'm just gonna take that front guide piece that we just cut right there. And I'm gonna use that as a guide for about how long to do the rest of it. And I'm just gonna point cut into it so that I have longer pieces in there too. And I'm just kind of grabbing all of the mohawk in that. And I'm going to take it around here. So right now when you pull this up, you should be able to see where your back and where your front are going to meet. So all that needs to happen here is just chunk out that in-between space. And it should match up pretty close. Alright, so now we're going to go back in. And she has lots and lots of hair. Okay, so now I'm going to take some of this out. You can see here's the guide from the side and here's the guide from the top. So you can take smaller sections there. It was a little bit more dramatic like that. And then you just chunk out. And then go down. Grab some more. Chunk that out. Big deep point cuts. Okay, we match that up. Now do the other side. You should be able to see the guide there and there. Take out the middle. Alright, so we need to texture now. I'm going to take my thinning shears and do some scissor over comb. I'm going to start on this right side, right above her ear. And what you do is you just lift the hair with the comb, make sure it's all up there, and you're going to take the thinning shears and just kind of chip into the ends as you move up. And then you use the scissors down here to kind of keep the hair lifted while you switch, like you could roll through it like this. And then when you comb it back down, you lose all that fluffiness, because we don't like that, right? Unless you want to look fluffy, I don't think you do. So we're just going to do that, roll through on the sides. And it's so soft looking when you use these thinning shears. I've said it a lot. I use these all the time. They're the 4420 fine taper thinning shears. I don't even know what brand they are. It doesn't really say. It just says economy on it. You don't have to buy the nicest pair of these things. They work pretty good. Just get whatever ones you can find that are thin, fine tapered. And you want to pay special attention to this area right here where the head starts to roll, because that's where it can start to look really shelfy. And there we go. All right, we're going to do this other side. So lift with the thinning shears. There we go. And you get little long pieces, you can just take your scissors and chop those out. Okay, right here, same thing. Okay, so the sides are looking good. We're going to do that to the back now. So we don't want a fluffy back. And there's always, everyone has so much hair right here, so you're going to have to just like play and play and play with that little area. Let's see, we have these. These are some other thinning shears. These are my crazy big chunker thinning shears. You can play with these a little bit. Be careful with these because they do take out big chunks of hair, and so you want to make sure you do it just on the very ends where you want lots of texture. But they are really fun for short hair like this. There we go. That's fun. So you can see we have all this fun texture back here. She could spike it out, she could lay it flat, and when she lays it flat, it looks smooth. When she spikes it out, it looks fun and spiky, not helmety. And that's what you want to go for. All right, so now the top, we're going to take our razor. We're going to go through the top with the razor. And then we're going to do it with the thinning shears. I mean, really, this needs a lot of texture. That's what makes these things work and look so awesome. So I'm just going to go through. I'm going to take diagonal sections going the way that her bangs are. So she's combing it this way. I'm just going to take diagonal sections like this, just to keep it organized, and just pencil through like that. I've done that section. So right here, look down just a little bit more. There we go. We're just going to pencil out some texture. Just keep working back on the top of the head all the way to the back. And you're supposed to stand where you're working, so once you get back where you couldn't see, you can come back to the back and do the same thing. I'm going to take them this way. There we go. And I'm going to come on this side and do it this way. And I just changed my razor before I did this haircut, so it is super, super sharp. And that's the best thing I would say to do if you're going to do something like this. Make sure your razor is really sharp. But with that said, when you change your razor, be really careful because it cuts a lot more hair than when it's dull. So if you're used to a dull razor and you switch it up, just adjust your tension and everything to the amount of chop you want to get with that, I guess. Okay, so the hair should feel light. It shouldn't feel heavy. Right in here it still feels really heavy, so I'm going to take a little bit more. I'm just going to take the hair straight up like this. I'm just going to use the razor to kind of knock it out, so it'll pull it out of my fingers. There we go, that's better. Okay, now I'm going to take the thinning shears through this. I love it when the hair does this little rooster tail. So fun. I just take my thinning shears and just kind of knock them out a little bit more. See any really long pieces? Just go crazy on them. There we go. All right. This is just a lot of just looking at where you think it looks a little bit thick or long and just taking it and playing with it. Let's see here. So I think that we've gotten the basic look of what we want to do. I'm going to blow dry this, and then I'm going to see if I need to do anything else. I always do that when I cut. I always blow dry and then touch up if I need to with the razor thinning shears. Okay, so for styling, it's so easy to do this because you just kind of play with it with your hair, and pomade, pomade, pomade. This makes or breaks a short haircut. So I have a dry wax here. This is Enjoy Dry Wax, and then I have the Redken Rewind pomade. It's just a pliable paste. I'm going to go through and just kind of dip my hands in. This stuff's kind of fun. It makes spider webs. Just kind of put this through the hair. And it will make it piecey. And then the dry wax pieces out even just a little bit more. And I just dig out like a chunk of this stuff because it can kind of be hard to get. And then I will apply it in my hands to warm it up just so that it's more spreadable. Or you can even blow dry the container a little bit if you want. And this stuff is nice because it stays dry looking and you can piece out all of this little texture stuff. And it helps to, if you want to do more smooth look, you can kind of just smooth down the pieces. And it's fun to take out these little pieces on the side. Do you like that rooster? Like, okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Do it then. This might be hard. You almost could do like a little mohawk with this too.
Yeah.
You could like pull it all. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our haircut. Please subscribe to my videos and share them with your friends, and keep the comments coming. I've enjoyed all of your comments and it means a lot to me. And make sure when you chop off your hair that you donate it to Locks of Love, or if you find another place that does the same thing. It is awesome to help sick kids get hair. So see you next time.